And we are back here on the Startup Morning Show, guys. We do apologize for you guys that's late. We'll try to go over some of the stuff that we talked about earlier later in the show. But we have Jared McCormick here with us, Bradley Dameron, JJ Pruitt, and Darryl McCoy. Jared McCormick from the Williamson Daily News. JJ, you was asking Jared about some of his favorite stories, and he said the Belfry, when they started out 0-5, winning that title. Jared, going back to that, it's not like they started they was playing Bebe's kids to start out, right?
No, I mean that they never. Belfry's going to play a tough schedule. It was Pikeville, and I think maybe Louisville Central might have been on the schedule that year. I can't 100% recall, but they're never going to play a cakewalk.
Didn't they play Johnson Central earlier in the season that year instead of that's the first year that they played JC earlier in the season too?
Yeah, it may have been. Yeah, because they wanted to get them off that last week, because that's a tough game to play week 11 going into the playoffs to get some guys beat up,
And you never get your top at the end of the day. You never get your top players playing in that game because nobody wants to get them hurt for playoffs. So.
Yeah, you can't blame them at all.
Yeah, but JJ, go ahead, or Bradley.
Well, I just wanted to talk here for a minute, Jared. You were talking about how newspapers and stuff has changed a bit. When I was last at the Daily News many years ago, at this point, I think I was there. I think I left just maybe like a year or two before they started cutting down on the number of days. It was still 7 days a week, but it was. Some days it was a bare bones 7. You know what I'm saying? Like a bare bones day. You come in there. I can remember getting half a page some days to have 3 games, and here's your half a page. Just the digital influence too. I worked at a weekly in Indiana at one point, and we didn't even have a website at the time. Not even, whatever we put out, it was just going to come out that week. Now I know they do because I've still occasionally come across it as my cat has suddenly decided to appear. But I was wanting to ask you, you've been watching a lot of the Olympics.
Oh yeah, man. Obviously they had a little bit of a rough start, but I've still been tuning in. Obviously supporting Team USA basketball anytime they played, and they're looking good. But I try to watch a lot of the different events. You only get to see them every 4 years. I believe it or not, I really enjoy the ping pong, the table tennis. Man, the skills it takes to do that. I used to think I was so good back in the lunchroom, at Williamson High, and then to watch those guys, it kind of humble you a little bit.
Well, a lot of stories. Jared, while we got you on here and Bradley brought it up, I guess we'll go ahead and talk about the Olympics here while you're on here. First of all, big story coming out, and I want to make sure I get this name right as soon as I can find it here. But I don't know if you guys seen, but Imani Khalif and Sin Young Tang, Tiny, was disqualified from the National Boxing Association because they're transgender boxers, but the IOC cleared them. Here's a little highlights from the boxing match so you folks at home can see, kind of the difference. Take a look at this.
A la mexicana Imani Khalif, que se está llevando la contienda ahora en las repeticiones, golpe de impacto, sí, se vio claramente de nueva cuenta el recto en combinación, hasta 5 golpes alcanzó a conectar, manejándose con el jab y otra vez en la combinación ahí, en el upper, otro golpe de impacto, le van a aplicar otra cuenta de protección, cuidado porque si llega una tercera ocasión es susceptible de que le detengan el pleito.
La velocidad de puños de Khalif no pudo contrarrestar lo rápido que desenfundaba tanto la izquierda como la derecha, y en la parte de este tercer episodio se estuvo comiendo en reiteradas ocasiones el jab y el recto.
Y bueno, pues aquí repasamos estos momentos de apremio para la mexicana, como observamos aquí que le estaban dejando el guante
Champions of this
en el botón
tournament.
y la
Well, take out that he actually throws like a girl, but you could tell the way he was moving that he was a man. Guys, is this fair? I mean, did the IOC drop the ball in allowing this to happen?
Absolutely. I mean, come on now. Like, you're just trying to take everything away from women. Like, you got these pageants that they're allowing these people to enter in, and they're letting them win, and then now you've got boxing. It's like, if you're going to allow them to compete, give them their own division and make it fair. I mean, that's my take on it.
What y'all's thoughts?
Go ahead, Brad.
I mean, I just think there are biological differences, and no matter what, how many hormones or whatever someone takes, I'm not against people living their life how they want to. That's not my thing. My thing is more, especially in a sport like boxing where it's very physical. I just think there are innate advantages, and I think it's a dangerous issue, and all it's going to take one time is one of these women to get hurt really badly, and if they keep allowing that, it's probably going to happen at some point, unfortunately. So that's my thought on it.
Yeah, my thoughts were pretty similar there to Brad. It's just DNA. I mean, or there's biological differences between the male and the female, especially with those top level athletes. There's not to say that maybe a woman down the road might be stronger than me, but when it comes to the top level athletes and these boxers, the men, they're top of the world, regardless of who they're going against, and to put them in there maybe against a woman, that's kind of a scary thought, really. I mean, if you had a daughter and she'd worked her whole life to get there to the Olympics, and how would you feel about that?
You could tell you could see the look in the lady's face. She was defeated. She knew she didn't have a chance, and I mean, take whatever your opinion about transgender is out of it. They shouldn't allow males to compete in female sports. Like it just shouldn't. I mean, males are stronger, they're bigger, they're faster, and in boxing, it's a safety issue. We've seen people in the past, boxers get killed when it's man versus man. You tell me, like, some of these transgenders, they're huge, and I just, and then you get the guys, like, there's going to be guys, and we've seen it in the past, guys go intentionally to compete in women's sports that may not even be transgender, but they want that gold medal or they want a chance to win money, and they're competing in it. Now that's when it's getting real dangerous, because at least the transgenders are living the lifestyle and I guess stuff like that. But just take that stuff out. I think Paris has dropped the ball in the Olympics from day one. They dropped the ball, and this has been one of the worst Olympics in my mind so far, whether it was with the Last Supper junk that they done at the beginning, now this stuff, and then you take and look, and you got the Dutch volleyball star who is accused of rape in 2014. He was 19 years old, met a 12-year-old online on the internet, went and met the young girl and ended up raping her, and made her go to the clinic and get a morning after pill the next day. This Olympics, why in the world is this guy able to compete in the Olympics? Like, this is a guy that was accused of rape. You knew what was going to come whenever you allowed this guy to compete. I mean, and this is a Dutch volleyball star. I just think Paris has dropped the ball.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, I think this will be an Olympics that's remembered more for the negativity than the positivity. years down the road.
You know what though, guys, I try to look at it a different way. There have been some negative things as my cat is rubbing on my monitor to try. That's what all the shaking there is. But I'm trying to focus on the positive things about it. Like, I've seen some incredible athletic achievements. Watching Katie Ledecky finish, half a pool length in front of everyone yesterday was pretty amazing. And I know that may sound weird, but these only come around every 4 years, and I'd like to focus on the athletes who are giving their all and doing it the right way, and these other things. I don't know enough about the Dutch case, Darryl, to say anything. I mean, there is a difference sometimes between accusation and stuff that was confirmed and convicted.
No,
and all
this
that.
guy was convicted.
Okay, so that's different than But I really personally, I just kind of would rather focus on stuff like right now. I have the Olympics on the background. These people are race walking. I don't know anything about race walking. I don't really particularly like watching it. It looks funny to me. But you know what? They're busting their tails and someone's going to win a gold medal here. And those are the people who I want to focus on, the ones who do it once a year. Or Snoop Dogg or Flavor Flav. I focus on them too. I'm enjoying that. Watching Flavor Flav run around being a hype man for the women's water polo team is one of my favorite things right now that's going on in the Olympics.
Well, I like that too. I like that part of it, but I also, that's another thing. Like these are the Olympics. People train year round for this. I don't know myself. I think and that's just the way the world's went. We've seen whether it's the NBA finals, we've seen other sports where Snoop Dogg has been. I think it was the NCAA tournament he was calling. I just think the Olympics, people train 4 years for this. I don't know. We need Snoop Dogg there unless he's performing. That's just my honest opinion. And now the good thing is Flavor Flav. I do love that he sponsored the women's polo team, and that good things are coming from that. But I just think that these Olympics have there's a lot of good stories coming from it. Love the Simone Biles stuff. Katie Ledecky winning the 1500 by 10.33 seconds. Which is very dominant. A lot of good stories coming out of it. U.S. defeated South Sudan yesterday, 103-86. And then you had former Kentucky Wildcat Bam Adebayo led the team in scoring with 18 off the bench. So tons of good stories. But, I just think that, the Olympics should be took a little more serious than what we're seeing it taken in Paris.
I do agree a bit. And also, just a little bit off subject, but still in the Olympics. Why are we so bad at 3-on-3 basketball?
We're 0-4, right?
We're terrible at 3-on-3 basketball. That's what every grows up playing at lunchtime, or whatever, or used to at least, and I don't know. I just kind of think, we have all these, if you're not going to put them on the main team, you have all these NBA and WNBA stars who may have been like, instead of the top 12, they may be 13 through 18
15.
or how many ever's on the actual squad. And I just kind of think that maybe that's what you go with. I don't know.
I mean,
surely we could have got somebody better than Jimmer Fredette.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Jimmer Fredette in 2009, 2010, he was like one of the original guys that was getting 50 and pulling from 35 to 40 feet. So, I'm not saying he's a bad player or nothing, but maybe Jimmer Fredette in his 20s might have been a good pick.
Yeah, 2024 now.
Yeah. Times have changed a little bit.
Would you rather have Jimmer Fredette or Jaylen Brown? I mean,
Yeah, or Kyrie.
Yeah, or Kyrie, yeah.
Yeah, and that, but I think honestly the reason that we're struggling is these other countries. they've made 3-on-3 a priority. I think that, we threw these teams together. I don't know that they have much practice, and a lot of it's the rules. It's not like, 3-on-3 here. As soon as you score, you got to grab the ball out of the net and start the next play. The rules are a little different there. Jimmer Fredette. Then they got they actually got the kid that shoots the free throws, granny style, from Florida on that team. I mean,
Barry's grandson.
Yeah, there you go. And so I don't know, the 3-on-3. I wish we would have put more of a focus, and I don't think that the way it looks, I don't think they put much time. I think they maybe it almost seems like they just was like, yeah, we're gonna go over there and we're gonna play 3-on-3, but I don't know that they even knew the rules before they got there. And the women's team, now we should be pretty good in the women's team. We got Ryan Howard and we got Van Lith in it, and I don't know why we're not good in the women's team, but got beat out in the first round of that. But it's basketball. America should be doing better, guys.
I agree 110%.
I mean, yeah, you have Van Lith and all that, but you also just saw a WNBA All-Star team beat the Women's Olympic team in a game recently. So maybe pull a few of those women over, instead of pull a few more of those, and less. Haley Van Lith is a decent is a pretty good college player. There's a big difference,
I don't know. I mean, just that's my thoughts on the Olympics, and the boxing situation. I mean, God forbid, this guy goes on to win gold. I don't know, how far into it. I've not, kept up with where they're at right now. But and that's another thing I want to get y'all's opinion on. Jared, are you surprised that right now the U.S. is fifth in gold medal count with only 6 gold medals? We still lead the overall medal count with 31. Are you shocked with them statistics?
Yeah, that's a little surprising there. Usually we're right there among the top for gold. We probably have the most athletes there total compete for medals, so it doesn't surprise me that we have won the most. But I mean, only 6 gold medals here. What is it? Almost a weekend. That's we're gonna have to step it up.
Our time's coming. Track and field's coming up, baby.
I do think we'll end up. I think we'll end up winning. Overall gold medal count when it's all said and done. I think some of these just may not be our forte, but like Bradley said, the track and field we pretty much dominate. Still got women or men's basketball, which they're going to have to play really well to win. I don't think it's a shoe in. Especially with some of these teams now, but it was definitely impressive that they come back and showed a little fire against South Sudan after only beating them by 1 earlier a couple months ago.
I'll say this: 2028 is going to be in L.A., Los Angeles, and they're adding flag football. I don't know if you guys have already talked about that on this show, but can you imagine the team we could put together for the flag football if we really wanted to?
Mahomes could hit Tyreek Hill again. Yeah, I mean
Mahomes, Tyreek, Justin Jefferson. We could go down the list there. We could put 3 or 4 teams in it and win that. Hopefully,
guys. I think the Olympics are actually at this point. I think they're doing stuff just to make me mad. I almost think that's what they're doing. They're like, we're going to make Darryl mad. Guys, flag football in the Olympics. I mean, 3-on-3 shouldn't be there. Flag football shouldn't be there.
I'm going to watch it, though.
Yeah, I'll watch it. But do we really need to be watching it in the Olympics? Yeah.
I mean, there's people out there that take it pretty seriously. I mean, if that's what they want to, I'm gonna watch it.
I look at it this way, when you try to grow a game internationally, maybe you start with the flag football stuff and you move on up.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if it's flag football, I don't know. Let's move on from the Olympics because I'm getting frustrated, guys. Now, Jared McCormick, when out of your times at the Whips and Daily News, what is I'm going to just go sport by sport. What's the best boys basketball team you've covered during your time at the Wimps and Daily News?
Well, go ahead and put it out there. I started in 2018, so it's not been super long, but 6 years now at the Daily News. So
you're a vet.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I would like to get to double digits, then I'll call myself a vet. But I 6 years here. I mean, man, it's the easy answer would be this past year's Tug Valley team that won it all. But they might have been better the year before when they didn't win it. With Parker Davis and Joey Galliu, but things just didn't fall right for them there at Charleston. I think the most talented team that I've covered, if we're just talking the local teams here in my area,
and yet in your coverage area, I mean, let's say Pike, Mingo, and Logan counties.
Yeah, I mean the most talented team would, and they didn't make it very far. I think they made it to the 15th region semis. That Belfry Pirate team when they had Bolker and Sal Dean and DeMaje Clark. I mean, some talent on that team, and they played with anybody they went up against. But I think Paintsville beat them out over there in the region that year, and but I would probably the best team I've seen since I've been at the paper would have been those early, right when I started, those Chapmanville teams with Obena. And if we're talking just here locally, the most talented team would have been that Belfry team with Bowl and Sal, DeMaze.
I think the Tug Valley team that won the state title, I don't know that they could have beat the team before, and I don't think they could have beat the team that Jonathan Blankenship's senior year. I don't know that they would have beat that team either. But that's nor here nor there. But I think if I'm just going in your time, I would probably agree. I think that Chapmanville team was definitely the best team. Now, I think the team had David Early, Peter No, all of them was probably the second best team.
Yeah.
And, let's, at the end of the day, the team last year that won a state title, don't forget, they ended up getting beat by Pike Central by 30-some. Martin County beat them by probably 30, 40 at the Fieldhouse that year. They played 3 15th region teams and got beat, pretty heavily by all of them. Trying to think who the other – Floyd Central at the Zip Zone. I think they beat them by about 30. So, that Tug Valley team, they was clicking at the right time. And, when you got a defender like Bryson Eli, you got a chance in single-A basketball. Because the other team normally only got one scorer.
And when you got a coaching staff like what they got too, I mean, those guys, they know how to win up there in Charleston. We'll just leave it at that.
I'll say this too about that Tug Valley team. I don't know if they win it this past year if they didn't have the struggles the year before. I think a little bit more familiarity with Tucker County from the year before, and then earlier in this past season, they knew they had to out-tough them. They knew they had to out-fight them. I mean, that was that game. It was a great game, but it was a rock fight. It was not. It was not what you would call the most beautiful up and down game you've ever seen in your life. But I do think that without those previous struggles, that prepared them for Tucker County. Because when you got to Charleston, I think it became pretty close. It was a 2, maybe 3-team race in single A up there. You could possibly say East Hardy, but
Cross Taylor says, "What's up, guys?" Cross Taylor was on that Beaucure team. Beaucure, DeMar Clark, Tyke Peterson. And just think if they would have got the other kid eligible, the 6'7" kid that was here. If they would have got that kid eligible, then that team would have been really nasty because he may have been the best of them all, But Connor Fugit, I think he opened a lot of people's eyes at the region tournament because, he showed then that that set him up for his senior year. He earned a lot of respect going out as a sophomore, having a performance like he did in that region tournament against Beaucure because he really dominated Bo over there.
Well, and you see John Thomas Kiefer talking about 2021 Man Hillbillies. That was a fantastic team.
Yeah, they were a great team.
Now that was the one with Austin Ball and them. I forgot about that. You had Austin Ball, Peyton Adams, trying to think, Jackson Tackett,
Caleb Blevins.
Yeah. So definitely that. We definitely dropped the ball not mentioning them there. That might have been the third best team, Jared, behind Chapmanville and Logan.
Yeah, they were right there. They're right there. They could have competed, with Ball and Tackett, of course. We ended up going to Logan and was a great player the next year. So the talent on that team was deep. And, of course, I seen Cross said the 2022 Pikeville team. Pikeville's always going to have talent right in the mix there. Man, they've had some good players coming through. We're blessed to be able to cover and watch some great teams, around here, Darryl, and great athletes.
I would agree. I'm glad Cross brought that up because I said Pike County. That Pikeville team, I would dare to say that Pikeville team, I don't know if they could have beat that Chapmanville team with Obina and Andrew Shaw and them, but and then the year before they had Drew Williamson. I don't know. I don't know. I think they would have had a dang good chance, to compete against that team. I'm trying to think. Man, that'd be one I'd like to watch.
Obina was the X factor, for those Tiger teams. He was whenever it got close and got a team was pushing up, maybe going to get them. That's when he would take over. Maybe not offensively, but defensively, man, he was. He just had that motor, and he's carried it on to Marshall and had a great career, going back for his 5th year this year. So I know Chapmanville Tiger Country is real proud of him.
And the thing that people don't understand about Obina is Obina loves the mountains. Obina don't see himself as a Nigerian. He sees himself as a mountain guy. And, I don't ever see Obina leaving, the tri-state area or this area. Obina, unless he goes somewhere to play ball professionally, which is a possibility. But he's finally starting to capitalize on NIL. I mean, I'm tickled to death for Obina, and everything that's going on right now because he's done stuff the right way and put the work in. So, Jared, football, best football team.
Well, like I said, started in 2018, so I missed those good minor teams, up there at Mingo. I mean, could say one of those Pikeville teams, any of the last 4 that have won it. But I don't want to make my Belfry people mad, so we'll go with the year that they beat Bell County there. The first one they won with Dixon. I think they was a little more well-rounded that year. Then the second one, the second one they won with Isaac. You had Ben Bentley and a lot more weapons. Avery Browning, I think, was still the quarterback on that team. I could be wrong, but I think it was Avery. They had, of course, like always, strong offensive line and great defense. I think Seth Mounts was still there on the defense, and that was when Isaiah Stanley. Isaiah was a freshman when they wanted to go to Paducah, so Isaiah wasn't there yet. But yeah, we'll go with that Belfry time. I think that was 2019.
Well, I'm going to say the best teams in my coverage area, or best teams in your coverage area that I've seen, is that any of them teams with Austin Dotson and Cole Bentley, Austin Hall, I think it was maybe the 2016 team, maybe. They had some dogs on that. X Willis, Davion Hunter,
Cameron Catron.
Yeah, Cameron Catron. I mean, them teams, and Raekwon Horton, he was the big, the big difference. So
I mean,
he was unstoppable. Make one.
Go ahead, Jared.
Yeah, he was unstoppable. He come over and I mean that group when that senior class. I mean, nobody can deny that they're the best group to ever come through Belfry High School. I mean, they won 4 straight championships. I mean, there's nobody that can deny it or talk or try to say otherwise. They can maybe argue that the 2016 team wasn't the best team, or whichever year was their senior year. But, that's definitely the best group to come through. And, they have the stats and the rings to prove it.
Well, I would still take the 03 team with David and Doug over the 16 team. But, because they had horses all across that line. But that was before social media. Cole and Austin, they got their praise. But, that team had just as good a lineman that, never got a chance just because, that wasn't the time that we're living in now.
That was the team I was going to bring up. That was going to show my age as the best team that I ever covered.
Yeah,
was the 03 Belfry Pirates with David Jones and Doug Howard back there. And you're right, the line. I remember that semifinal game against I believe it was Russell. Was that right? Glassgate and Vipperman.
Yeah,
and Russell was a really good team. And Belfry just smashed them, just absolutely pounded them, ground them down. And I remember David's last touchdown run where he dove and got the pylon and all that. But
well, that little 6 degrees separation, Jared, me and Bradley, we kind of, started life at Wimpson Daily News. So, got 3 Wimpson Daily News guys on here. But
still smell the newsprint. I can still smell that from that old building, man. It just permeated that entire building when they started the press in there, man. It just
that was the good days. Many nights I walked in, seen Bradley there, 1 o'clock at night, putting stories in. So as we're sitting here looking, guys, Jared, I guess baseball, you probably would go with one of the Logan teams, right?
Oh yeah, when they had the year that they obviously they didn't win it their senior year with Dawson Maynard when Dawson and them was a senior, but the year before when they were all juniors, Dawson and Garrett Williamson, and that crew, Aiden Slack, they had Corbin Bostic in right field. He was a senior when they were juniors, and then the little shortstop, I've done forgot his name. He was a senior. So they had lost 2 players that were key players. And Corbin was maybe right there with Dawson as the most talented. He was left-handed bat, though. So, anytime you lose a big left-handed slugger, it's going to hurt. And it did hurt them. They didn't win it again. They was trying to three-peat, of course, and that's hard to do. Don't matter how good you are. When you got a target on your back like they had, they didn't get it that last year, but baseball's a funny sport. Sometimes you go cold for a game or two and you'll get beat, but those Logan teams would definitely be the best. This past year's Pikeville team with Isaac Duty pitching and Thompson the pitching as well. They were probably be next.
Yeah, got Bash Ryan and Sam Wright. I mean, that team was loaded. Isaiah Stanley coming over from Belfry really helped them out. Cross Taylor says Daniel Ding. Yeah, he was the player that didn't get eligible for Belfry that year with Bo Cure and them. But if he would have got eligible, it would have been state titles coming back to Pond Creek. But as Jared softball, what's the best softball team you've seen?
Well, I mean, if we're keeping it to my local area, there's a lot of softball is a sport that's really growing. I mean, there's teams that used to not be very competitive that now you can't go past them. Like Tuck Valley softball program is really, Rocky Hall's done a great job there. And Logan County's always been known for, just like baseball. You can go back to the Chapmanville days when they had Andy Williamson. Logan softball won state titles. Of course, had Morgan Cooper. She's now pitching at Radford. She was unreal to watch in single A. Then you cross the river right now, the Belfry team with Molly Thom. Molly's right there with any player that I've covered in terms of talent. She's unreal to watch, and she's just getting started. Still, it seems crazy to say because we've been covering her now, I think 4 years, and she's just now a sophomore. She's broke every record Belfry's got, and I don't think anybody.
She's a D1 lock.
Yeah, she's D1 lock, and she eats, sleeps, and breathes softball. I mean, she's probably out playing it right now in this weather, in this rain here.
Well, Jared, let me tell you this. Bradley can tell you her name right off the bat, but there's a young lady in Boyd County. It's just a 7th grader that she's Fom-esh. She's right there on Fom's level. It'd be tough to see which one was better. But what's her name, Bradley?
Well, there's. Are you talking about the older one or the younger one? Because there's JC.
Talking about the younger one.
Jaden Goad.
Jaden Goad.
Their sisters, like JC is going to be I believe a sophomore this year, maybe a junior. I'll have to double check. But Jaden is just coming up. She was in the 7th grade this year. She hit almost 500. Just both of them. There's something in those genes and probably some really good coaching. But those two girls are they're phenomenal. I think they're both D1 players there at Boyd County.
Jared, let me ask you this: it's been it's been a while. Normally, football season is really fun on Pond Creek, but with the latest news coming out the last couple of days, how excited are you to cover basketball again on Pond Creek?
Oh man, I'm excited. I've talked with Coach Perry, Brent Perry there a handful of times back in the summer. Of course, I was there when he's at his opening press conference and enjoyed all my discussions with him. He's obviously very knowledgeable about the game, knows the game. He's young, 26, 27 years old. That's going to be an adjustment, getting to talk to a younger guy on the sidelines there after games. But, man, I mean, with the news, obviously your boy Jackson, I know that's really special for you. That program for you, Darryl, I know is special. And to have him there, I mean, I can't imagine how you're feeling about that. But and then Little, that's some good talent. And they're both Belfry kids is the most special part. And they're coming back home. And to mix with what they had, because I saw them this summer, Darryl, with Dante Davis coming back out. And Ian Loomis down low. These are guys people might not know of on the hardwood. Their names, but these guys had good summers to mix with, of course, Zaid Rash, the star guard, and Michael Bryce Hagee. He's a 6'3" now and very good defender. And then you got Carter Jude. Man, the backcourt over there could be dangerous. and I'm very looking forward to it.
Well, I tell you what, there's a couple Belfry boys that's a couple bigs out there that's elsewhere that listen. You never know how things fall. If they decide to come back home or something. But it's situation. Our circumstances is a little bit different. We had some family issues going on, but I am stoked, man, to see him wear that Belfry uniform. I mean. If we would have had our choice, that's where he would have been to begin with. But life takes you different directions, and he gets to end up finish his career there. And I'm tickled to death that you'll get to cover him. It's I think the Brent Perry era. There's something special looming right now, and I just think that Belfry basketball, hang on Pond Creek now after football season. You ain't got to put your gear up. You still can be excited for the next 6 months.
Yeah. I mean, the 60th district, with Rigdon's now gone, and did I hear y'all say the other day Jake Sloan went to Wesley?
Yep.
So I mean, the 60th district's wide open. Obviously, Jaden Stewart will be a problem, but at Pike Central, but Belfry could compete right with them. Obviously, last year the talent gap was immense. Now it's a lot. It's right there. They're right there together, and that's going to be fun to watch this year, no doubt about it.
Well, the thing you worry about with Belfry and Pike Central, Belfry, as you mentioned, they're a team loaded with guards. Pike Central's a team loaded with forwards, and one of them is a Belfry boy, Peyton Owens, and when you take a look, it's going to be, really come down to coaching, I think, in that game. And don't count out Cameron Smith. He got 2 Canadians in over there, Jared.
Oh, see, I hadn't heard. I haven't talked with Cameron in a while, but the passion that he has for that program, it's really exuding out onto his players, and they were fun to watch this past year, and I'm not sure who's hosting district. That always plays a factor. If it's back over there at Phelps,
I'm pretty sure it's Phelps's year.
Yeah, I mean, look out then. I think you're right, because it was at Belfry, and then at Pike Central the year before.
Yeah, so it should be Phelps's year.
So yeah, look out. I mean, anytime they host it, they're a threat to win it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And listen, Tyler Weddington, he's the best big in the region, probably. I mean, when you just go numbers wise, so it definitely be interesting, to see how it pans out. But Jared, we really didn't get to talk to you about anything that we wanted to talk to you about. So, I'm gonna make you promise to come back on next week. Will you do that?
Yeah, man. Anytime you guys, got a spot for me, I really appreciate you bringing me on, and it gives me a chance to talk about some of these local athletes. And I've been going around to the football practices, so I'll next week I'll bring in some good info for the people getting ready for this football season.
Now tomorrow is media day on Minor Mountain, right?
Yeah, actually tomorrow morning we got media day at Pond Creek. And then tomorrow evening, I'm going up to the mountain, talk to Coach David Jones and his crew. And then, this evening, I'm actually going over to Phelps, making my rounds. And then next Tuesday is Tuck Valley. So by the time I get back on here, I should know a lot more about these teams this year and what they're going to have.
Well, we'll make plans next Thursday, and get me a Wimpson Daily News logo so we can throw it up for them.
Hey, I got you.
All right, guys, we're going to go to commercial break. Jared, thanks for joining us. Guys,
Thank
we
you,
will
guys.
see you on the other end. You're watching the Startup Morning Show with JJ Pruitt, Bradley Dameron, and Darryl McCoy. Oceana Discount Tobacco today. Nobody can beat Oceana Discount Tobacco's great prices or their great services. You're treated like family from the second you walk through the door.
We want to thank Oceana Discount Tobacco for sponsoring today's events. Go follow them on Facebook.
Incorporated Little Flower Clinic announcing help needed. We're seeking donations of gift cards to help us make a difference for our homeless and at-risk patients. Gift cards will be used for new clothing, new underwear, and personal hygiene items. If you're interested in helping, please contact us. Call Kendra Cole at 606-487-9505, extension 342, or mail your gift cards to Little Flower Clinic, 279 East Main Street, Hazard, Kentucky, 41701.
Back here on the Startup Morning Show, JJ Pruitt, Bradley Dameron, and Darryl McCoy. Guys, this segment is sponsored by our good friends at Tug Valley Wellness Clinic. Royal health is very important. Make sure you go see Tanya Chafin and our friends down at Tug Valley Wellness Clinic, located in Lenoir, West Virginia, for all your health care needs. Guys, great interview, Jared. And JJ, I know JJ has wanted Jared on here for a long time, so I guarantee you he had a million other questions. JJ, I apologize. We ran a lot later than thought.
Man, you guys left me hanging. You had the three guys that was with Williamson Daily News, and then you have me over there.
we share some similar backgrounds, I guess. You know, a lot, and it is funny because I did cover Jared when he was in school. So
yeah, he was a solid ball player too. He was like I said, he was a pretty good shooter.
So Bradley, if you covered when Jared was in school, you tell me you don't have any memories of JJ?
I mean, I do kind of, but listen, I have covered so many people over the years at different times that, like, yeah,
you believe that, JJ?
Hey, we're gonna make some new memories whenever we start doing these segments with some of these players.
There we go.
I'm just saying, you know, Pruitt and Mate One.
Hey,
that name goes hand in hand, right?
Absolutely.
You knew about that, like especially around at the time I was covering it. A lot of people with the name Pruitt was there, so you know about that, JJ. You
absolutely. Terrence was probably down. Well, Terrence and Blaine were probably the two best ones, and there was a lot of other good ones. I don't know if people know Brandon Burgraff. He was kin to the Pruitts as well. He was a really good ball player. I mean, and Marissa, she was the younger sister of Terrence and Blaine. She was tough too. So there was a lot of good people to come out of that family, which clearly we can see because, you know, Aiden Burke is carrying on the tradition.
Yeah.
Who was your coach? Who were your coaches there, JJ?
During that time, for me personally, Philip Mitchell was my coach, but I think for Terrence and Blaine, it would have been Clay Campbell, I believe. Might have been. And I think Anthony Struthers, he might have coached at Make One as well for like a year.
Yeah, but listen, Philip was one of my best coach / ref friends in the area whenever I was covering, and he was taken away from us way too soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic guy though. I always loved Philip. So yeah. See, guys, I know I covered you. That's the
thing. we got a lot of comments coming in. John Thomas Kiefer said, hey, stayed true. Said had plenty of opportunities to leave Marshall, but Obina stayed loyal. Said bias or no bias. Said they were a great team. Deserve to be acknowledged. I agree. Man High Girls won back-to-back state championships in 08 and 09.
Softball, yeah.
Yeah, so big shout out to them as well. Guys, if you got questions or comments, you can give us a call on the Double Quick hotline. Get it on the double at Double Quick, guys. Give us a call at 606-230-8911. That's 606-230-8911. Now, guys, as we move on, don't know if you guys had a chance to see, but in one of the weirdest stories coming out of the day, Denny Crum former Louisville basketball head coach. A lot of Kentucky fans didn't like him, but later in life, they really beloved him because of his time on the radio with Joe B. Hall. Denny Crum ended up taking and passing away a year ago, but his resting place still sits empty. As you see Denny Crum there, and the background story of why it sits empty is very odd, but it's also a little poetic. His headstone they had made over in one of the foreign countries. I think it's Saudi Arabia or somewhere. And it had like a velvet background. Like, it was beautiful. But because of tensions between Israel and Hamas, there was some Haiti pirates that raided the ship and dumped all the cargo at sea. So now Denny Crum's headstone sits at the bottom of the Red Sea. So it still sits empty, but a little poetic there, guys.
It's in the Red Sea, yes.
Yep.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a very interesting story. Like, I had no clue.
Yeah, unique story there at best.
Yeah.
But that's something, when you talk about, I watched that movie about the pirates. What was the name of the movie? Where they shot the pirates? I can't remember the name of the movie. Somebody tell me in the comment section. But one of the best movies I've seen talking about the pirates. That's something that modern day pirates is something that's very, you see them all the time. It's very common, whenever you go out, toward them third world countries. Are you surprised that, no military or anybody has been able to get a hang on these pirates and really stop what they're doing over there at sea?
It's almost like they're just trying to stay out of their way, like stay in their own lane, I guess you could say. Because I would imagine if they really tried that they would have the capabilities to be able to do something, but it's almost like they just want to maybe mind their own business. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, it's kind of like the same thing. Like, why don't the police wipe out gangs or something? It's I think it's easier said than done, because it's not like they're wearing pirate uniforms and they're on the SS, I don't know, whatever, and they're today's pirates are going out on little dinghies and rafts and all that. I do think there could be more security on the boats. Like, maybe some of these shipping companies could get a few.
Well, I think they have really beefed up security on them. And that movie, if I'm not mistaken, its name was Captain Phillips. Maybe, was that it?
That sounds familiar. That there was a movie named Captain Phillips, but I don't think I ever saw it.
Yeah, it had Tom Hanks in it. It was really neat how the snipers ended up. I mean, I promise you, if you go watch it, I remember watching that live. Whenever the snipers took the pirates out, they was on that little boat, and the shot that the sniper took was, an amazing shot. It was unbelievable. But it's something that I guess where it's international waters, nobody really knows who has control over it. So
jurisdiction, pretty much.
Yeah, that's
it. And there could be some issues too. You don't want to necessarily go over there if someone may take that as an act of aggression.
Yeah.
Like another country. So you don't want to accidentally start a war either by trying to take care of the pirates.
I agree, but something has to be done, because it's costing businesses and companies too much money, not even counting the lives that it's, that them pirates are taking. So, we got to figure some way to do the pirates, to get rid of the pirates, because, when you attack Denny Crum's headstone, that's enough. We've had enough.
Yeah.
The guys, as we're moving on, Bradley, county of the day, what do you got for us?
I have give me just one more. I have Wolfe County, Kentucky today, Darryl.
Okay. Miguel's Pizza, right?
Right.
Yeah. Listen, Wolfe County, when you mention Wolfe County, you cannot mention Wolfe County without mentioning Miguel's Pizza.
Well, And you also have like the Wicked Wolf is also a great place there, and but we've got some good eateries there in Wolf County. But yeah, Wolf County today's county of the day. It's one of our many great counties here in the mountains. But it's named after Nathaniel Wolf, who's one of the first two graduates of the University of Virginia School of Law in 1829, and he was a loyal Unionist attorney for Jefferson County, Kentucky. I see the medal going on.
Hey, listen, representing the Olympics.
We got beach volleyball going on in the background over here. It's almost as prestigious as Soaky Mountain, but
almost.
And the thing is, Wolf County, it was formed in 1860, and it was from portions of Breathitt, Morgan, Owsley, and Powell counties. And Campton is the county's only seat, and it was formed from Camptown in Wolf County. Can make sense. Camptown, Campton.
Yeah.
It's kind of how things kind of evolve sometimes. It also, there's a small creek winding through Campton called Swift Creek, and it's named after Jonathan Swift, of the legend of Swift Silver Mine. Basically, Swift supposedly buried treasure in the area, which has never been recovered.
Nope, never been recovered. The and if I'm not mistaken, they have a fair called the something like the Swift Creek Fair, the something like the Treasure Fair or something like that, where that's what their county fair is named after. Is that story?
It's all that's one of the neat stories. I remember hearing about that years ago. The Swiss silver thing.
Yeah, I mean that's nationally, that's probably the two biggest myths, that and DB Cooper, right?
DB Cooper's a pretty big one. Well, I mean, just going a little bit off Wolf County. Listen, I have no doubt in my mind that DB Cooper just like basically impaled himself on a tree somewhere in a forest. Dive out of a plane tonight. There's no way that man made it out. But anyway, just saying.
It could have, but the Swift Creek story definitely right up there with DB Cooper.
It's up there pretty high, yeah.
Yeah.
But also geographically, it's near Menifee, Morgan, or it's adjacent to Menifee, Morgan, McGoffin, Breathitt, Lee, and Powell counties. And then there's also Daniel Boone National Forest does inhabit part of the county as well. And there's also the Natural Bridge State Resort Park there. Wolf County it's been mainly for most of its time been a Democratic county. Voted heavily Democrat. It had a slight deviation in 2000, went back to Democrat until 2012, and then it shifted Republican, and in the last one it was pretty heavily Republican in 2020. The last two actually very heavily Republican. So they're big fans of Donald Trump there in Wolf County, it does appear, because they weren't that heavily for it before. So that you can see the shift there. And you mentioned the Swift Mine Festival. It's held on Labor Day weekend each year. That'd be a fun thing to go to. Listen, I want to go find some silver. I do. I would love to do that. I mean, we all, Darryl, we would be set.
Well, silver's making a comeback. We had Coach Perry on yesterday, and a little 6 degrees separation there. He takes and invests, like 60% of the money he makes into silver because he thinks that it's going to make a comeback. And if you listen to him, he can tell you a good case of why that's the case.
Well, I hope it does. So for him, listen, I always think there's going to be a place for like precious metals, but
Yeah,
So,
well, you mentioned Red River Gorge Natural Bridge. A neat story coming out of there. A Ohio man went down there after a 14-day search. This just happened last week. After a 14-day search, on the last day of the search, they found this man. I don't know how in the world you get lost at Red River Gorge. I don't. That blows my mind how you can be lost for 2 weeks. Like I am really, I'm intrigued in that. Like, I've been there. If you watch one of our earlier shows, one of our first shows, I tell you the story about, me and my family going to Red River Gorge. And, I just don't see how in the world. I mean, I understand that it's big, but 14 days, like, you can go up on top of any mountain around here. And listen, this is a little tip for anybody that ever gets lost. Go on top of the mountain, and I guarantee you can see a 4-lane, a house, or something from just about any mountain that you can find in Eastern Kentucky or Southern West Virginia.
probably, yeah. I mean, problem is climbing the mountain, Darryl. That's the problem. But I agree. If you get up there, you can probably find something.
I mean, was this guy handicapped? Was he owed? Was he special needs? Was he higher than a kite? I mean, like, there's something that had to be going on to keep this man at bay for 14 days to where people couldn't even find him, let alone him find his way out. Like, it blows my mind.
Yeah, I can't get that either. But
what's the median income, Bradley, in
the
Wolf
median
County?
income? Yes, sir. The median income for the county is 19,310 for the median income for a family is 23,333. For males, the median income is 23,859 versus 18,952 for females.
Now, that's very low. And I gotta think the reason why that is if you've been there, you will see that 90% of the people there, there's not a ton of homes there. What's the population, Bradley?
The population as of the 2020 census was 6,562.
Yeah, 6,000 people. So out of them 6,000 people, I would just about guarantee you 3,000 of them probably work in the National Boone or Daniel Boone National Forest System. And I would say the wages, when you take a look, median income, what would you say it was? 18,000 or 21 for males?
It was for males is 23,333.
Yeah.
And for females it was just a shade under 19,000, just barely under.
Yeah, I actually met a family there, a guy from the Ashland area. He had moved his family there. His daughter always dreamed of owning a hobbit house. And he moved his family from Ashland to Wolf County, and he took and built a hobbit house inside the mountain. Like, it was neat. It looks just like a hobbit house. Got circle doors, got trap windows. It was one of the neatest things I've ever been to. And my wife about flipped out because I stopped and I asked her, I said, "Hey, can I come in your house?" And they let me go in, tour the house. It was neat. But he was telling me the story, of how they moved there because of his daughter's dream. She was a big Harry Potter fan and or a big Lord of the Rings fan. And but him, his daughter, and his wife, they all work at Miguel's Pizza. So, you got people moving in to work in the forest system. It don't take a lot to live there either. So I could see 23,000 being that, it's very low, but I could definitely see somebody making it on 23,000 if they had to.
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing is, a lot of people in our area, they're, we live in an area where a lot of people will get by on very little, and we're fortunate to live in an area where a lot of people can do that. Even though It gets tougher and tougher each year, though, with inflation and stuff.
You got any famous people?
We do have some famous people. We have Peter Center, who he pitched for the Cleveland Indians in the 1940s. Folk artist Edgar Tolson. And basically, Ralph Rensler of the Smithsonian Institute was he was impressed with Tolson's figures and included them in the 1971 Festival of American Folklife. So, famous basically like a lot of wood carvings and stuff. There's a South Trimble, who is a politician. He was born near Hazel Green, and he was a U.S. representative from Kentucky. And he was a part of the famed South Cockerell Hargis family of Southern politicians. And he was in office from 1919 to 1946, so he had quite a long time there. And then also there was country music singer Tyler Booth.
Yeah.
So
Tyler Booth, I forgot about Tyler Booth being from there. And also, just like every county in Kentucky, there's reports that Abraham Lincoln's uncle is buried there. They all got ties to Abraham Lincoln in Kentucky. Guys, that's Wolfe County. We'll take a quick break. Be right back here on the Startup Morning Show. One more segment. Come back and join us.
Pass, bring them to Hall and Jones Funeral Home in Burgee, Kentucky. We let you grieve in peace instead of worrying about a heavy financial burden of burying a loved one. Here at Hall and Jones, we have multiple chapels that can accommodate any size family. We look forward to helping you and your family here at Hall and Jones. Drug today and let them fill your prescription. Eric Holman Drug has been serving the Chapmanville community for over 46 years. They're a proud supporter of the Chapmanville Tigers and all mountain athletes.
And we are back here on the Startup Morning Show. JJ Pruitt, Bradley Dameron, guys. This segment is brought to you courtesy of Logan Bank and Trust. If you're looking for a loan today, make sure you call Logan Bank and Trust. They will make the process not only easy, but nearly guaranteed. Logan Bank and Trust will get you suited up for your next loan. If you're having any kind of money issues, go see Logan Bank and Trust. Guys, as we're moving on, I don't know if you guys got a chance to see, but Carrie Underwood is taking over Katy Perry's spot as American Idol host. As you sit here and look, when you talk about these music shows, my favorite is The Voice. What are you guys' favorites?
Bradley, you want to go first?
I got burned out on. My wife likes all of them. I probably of all of them probably do like The Voice the best, but I'm so far behind on them. I don't even know. But listen, American Idol without Simon Cowell is just, you got to be mean sometimes, Darryl, and I just like to see him cut into people every now and then.
Well, who could be that host that could be that guy?
Gordon Ramsay, if he had any kind of music background, just because of how opinionated he is with his feedback.
Man, we just need to find some musician who's mean. That's what
we
just find a musician who's a bit mean, and you're
Kanye West.
Oh my goodness, I would pay good money to hear Kanye critique people, whether I agree with it or not. It would be great TV.
Yeah.
Well, Carrie Underwood taking over Katy Perry's spot. A lot of these A-list celebrities, whenever their flame starts burning out, American Idol has been their go-to. Jennifer Lopez, that's how she got her, start back in, I guess, in her, in the TV world. we've seen a lot of artists and a lot of people make a career off American Idol. So this is a huge opportunity for Carrie Underwood. I'm excited to see how she does.
Well, and she was an American Idol winner, right? I mean,
yes,
so
yes, I forgot about that. She was what, second?
She was one of the early winners. I don't remember exactly which one. My wife loves her. So
Yeah,
you know,
guys, don't know if you've seen, but guys, are you guys fans of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
The original, absolutely. The ones with Tommy and Jason and Zach and Billy and Kimberly.
That came after my time when I was growing up. Yeah.
Hector David Jr. is wanted by Idaho police for battery. Check this out. He gut punched a 80-year-old man on a walker. Are you surprised that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers are taking out old men in today's world?
That's not my Power Ranger. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know whose generation that was, but I don't know who that is.
No, that's your Power Ranger.
No, that don't look like it. Let me see which one he is. What you say, Hector? What'd you say his last name was?
Hector David Jr.
Hold on.
I had to dig far and wide to find that video, guys. I read the story and I started digging, and I found a Facebook page of Idaho Police Department, and I went to Idaho Police and I found that video. So I had to do a little research to find that for you folks at home.
I'm just saying, he's not even the worst person to ever appear on Power Rangers. There's the famous case, and I can't remember the guy's name, was part of a ring who basically they tried to swindle an old couple out of their inheritance and drowned them at sea. So I mean,
wow,
years ago. So I mean, I don't know, man. The something about the Power Rangers is not.
No, this isn't mine. This is from 2010. Mine are from the 90s. Like, my favorite one from the 90s, it was the guy that played Tommy. He was a legit MMA fighter. My generation would have done nothing like this. We don't claim this individual.
These are those newfangled Power Rangers.
Yeah, it's that new Gen Z Power Rangers or whatever.
I mean, how about that? Using his Mighty Morphin power punch to take out an 80-year-old guy, gut punch on a walker. But are you guys impressed that I found the video?
I mean, you usually do a really good job of finding you're like the TMZ version of the mountains, I guess you could say.
Well, I was sitting there, and when I read the story, I was like, I don't know if there's video. So I looked everywhere, couldn't find it, and I ended up going to Idaho Police Department's Facebook page, and they had a video of it up where they're looking for him.
I mean, the only compliment I could give him is the jersey that he was wearing. Looked like a Tom Brady jersey. So, I mean, he's got good taste in football players, but that's about it.
I mean, he's a front runner, but that's okay.
Yeah. Would you say taking out an 80-year-old man with a punch like that, was that a deflated punch?
For once, I would say it was very deflated.
Yeah. All right, guys. As we move on here, I don't know if you guys had seen, AI is taking over America. Now you're going to see these things right here roving around beaches near you. It's a trash sucking robot. Now, they're using AI to generate, I guess, images of cigarette butts, because they've been such a thing where cigarette butts are hurting fishes at sea. So all these towns are going in and putting their money into trash sucking robots. Guys, AI, I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing. I take it's good, just by, taking it at face value. But, I I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a little weird to see trash sucking robots roaming all over the beaches. You know, when you're out there playing with your family and you see a robot looking like a dog coming by.
Well, this pretty much is an episode of Black Mirror. I don't know if you've ever seen this show. I actually just texted you a photo. I seen this episode about 2 or 3 years ago, and it's relevant today. Like that's your homework assignment, Darryl. Black Mirror season 4, episode 5. You're going to see exactly the picture that you showed me. Like they already did this a couple of years ago, which is insane.
What about you, Bradley? Are you surprised? Trash sucking robots taking over American beaches.
Well, I don't know who would decide to give us legs, so now they can places. We need to keep them,
JJ, you're right. It does look very similar. Look at it there.
That's pretty wild, actually.
Watch that episode, and you're gonna see like how eerie that is. Like it's insane. Like no, I definitely don't want to see those on the beach. Actually, it gives me an even better reason not to go to the beach. No, I'm gonna stick with Vegas. That's gonna be my destination out. No beaches for me.
All right, guys. In South Pasadena, southern town in California, they have decided to go green and order an entire fleet of Tesla cop cars. Guys, good idea or bad idea?
Jesus.
Well, I mean, they better. I'm sure they're the higher end ones with like a lot of miles. They can go on a charge, but at the same time, I'm just waiting for that high speed pursuit. We'll figure out. If they're both charged up, we'll figure out which one has the most power, and I don't know. That's going to be the interesting part. They'll be quiet.
I promise you, there's going to be a lot of bad situations arise from this. That there's going to be on call, or they're going to have a prisoner that and all of a sudden a prisoner gets loose because they're stranded on the side of the highway because they're out of charge, or and that takes out my problem with it. My whole problem with it ain't really. I don't think these cars are going to, because there was a case. A Kermit Fire Department fighter told me that they had a guy that was stranded, an old man that was lost. And this was just here in Wayne County, and he was up a holler. He worked for, I think, like a state department. He was up a holler, and he ended up getting stranded for quite a bit of time, but nobody could find him because the car was dead. And, they couldn't find, the GPS, wouldn't get signal because they're here in the mountains. The signal was blocked. And, I just don't think, I don't think it's a good look. It doesn't surprise me that, this coming about, that it's in California, because they're a bunch of liberals anyways. But, my problem is, why are we spending taxpayers' dollars? Why are we going and buying $100,000 cop cars, when these cop cars, imagine that cop car, a Tesla, trying to go, off-road, to chase somebody. In California, there's a lot of deserts. Imagine a Tesla trying to do that. I just do not see this being a good idea for anyone. And I don't like that taxpayers' money is going to pay for $100,000 cop cars when they're going to get beat on, banged on, and I mean, you'll have to get it. I don't know how many a year, but I mean, you see around here, they're in high speed chases. Cars, all the time. Body shops have cop cars in them because of damage they take. During working hours. I just don't know how this is a smart idea.
Well, you know what? We'll see. I mean, like, it won't take long. Like, we'll look at this in a year. Maybe they're ahead of the curve for the rest of us, but I kind of like you. I have a lot of concerns. I'll see how it goes in like a year.
I'm just waiting for the high-speed chase whenever the cops are like, wait a minute, we got to charge our cars real quick, and then
My whole thing is this too. Like, if you stop to get gas in a car, you maybe have to spend just a few minutes there, right?
Yeah.
Put in and go. And if you have to stop to charge up a Tesla, it takes more than a few minutes. I mean, so there will be more downtime. Now, if they somehow have the budget to get more cars to accommodate all that, maybe, but still, it's going to take a lot of coordination, so there's not big gaps in like police coverage.
Do better, government. Stop spending our money on Teslas. All right, guys. As we're sitting here, yeah, and that brings up the case that we was talking about before. Martin County. The water department went and bought Teslas. I mean, you tell me why Martin County. I think it was the water. No, it wasn't. Might not have been the water part. It was something to do with the city here in Martin County, in Inez. Went and bought Teslas, and I mean, I'm just like, why do we need Teslas here in Inez? I just don't get it. This is coal country, and that's kind of a slap in the face to me. But that's besides the point. Let's move on. Final story of the day. Bradley, tell us about the 12U Johnson Central softball team. How'd they finish?
Third. Finished third in the Babe Ruth World Series. As the 10U team, by the way.
Yeah, 10U team. Tell us a little bit about, do you know who they lost to?
They lost in the semifinals. I have to look that up. They played a lot of the same teams over and over, a couple different times. I would have to double check that. But they finished 2-2 in pool play, and they lost in the semifinals. But they had, I guess it's not really. It'd be the equivalent, since we're doing the whole Olympic thing, about the bronze medal. They had a third place game.
Yeah,
and was able to take that home. But I'm pulling those details up as we speak, in theory. But
so 10U Johnson Central softball team takes third, brings home bronze, and they had some really good pitching on that team too.
They did. Ashlyn Ousley, she was striking out girls left and right. In one of the games, I remember, it's a 5-inning game, so there were 15 total outs, and she had 14 strikeouts in one of them. I mean, that's just something it's kind of unreal.
Wow. Well, that rounds us out, guys. We're running out of time. It's 10:03. We got started late today. We're like TBS, more around 10:05. Now, guys, we're going to take tomorrow is media day. We're going to have a meeting, later today and see. I don't know if we will be on air tomorrow. Hopefully we will, but we'll decide that here in a little bit. But, guys, want to thank each and every one of you guys for joining us. Want to thank Jared McCormick for coming on the show, talking with us about some of the area sports. And, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the show today. Sponsored by Punk's Tires, located in Virgie, Kentucky. Punk's Tires will get your car road ready. Jeremy Pinson knows tires. Go see him and his wife, Chasta, for all your tire needs. I promise you, you won't be disappointed in the pricing. By far the best price on tires in the coal fields. Punk's Tires, located in Virgie, Kentucky. Guys, what's your plans today?
My plan is to get prepared for this media day for tomorrow. Hopefully you guys can give me some tips on, what I can do since this is my first one. And, the other plans that I have is to go sales and advertise for the company.
There we go.
For me, I've got I'm going to edit a column, and then I'm going to be speaking this evening to Coach Justin Koger from Westside. Going to talk about his football season coming up.
Okay.
So we're going to you're going to start seeing some football previews rolling out here.
Well, guys, make sure you guys continue to follow us here on D&D Sports Network. Tune in every weekday morning from 8 to 10 a.m. for the Startup Morning Show. Till next time, good day.